This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
I am always down for a trip to my favorite sushi spot or poke place, but buying and prepping raw fish at home feels like a can of worms. Like, literally. You've seen these videos, right? So I went fishing through a sea of science to figure out the actual risks here. And there's good news and bad news. This is MinuteFood. I almost didn't make this video because stuff squirming around in your food is admittedly super gross. And my goal is to make food more accessible, not less. But here's the thing. Parasites are a totally normal part of where our food, historically, has come from. They're present in basically every ecosystem on Earth. As the animals in any given ecosystem move around and eat, they come into contact with parasites, which, if the species is an appropriate host, will take up residence on or inside it. Virtually all wild mammals, for instance, have internal parasites. That is the norm out in nature. But the vast majority of the meat people eat these days, especially in developed countries, comes from animals that are commercially raised. Their environment and their food is really carefully controlled, so they just don't come into contact with that many parasites. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of issues with commercially raised meat, but internal parasite load is one instance in which it actually fares better than backyard raised or wild meat. So it is extremely unlikely that you are going to find a parasite in the poultry or beef or pork that you buy at a grocery store. Fish, though, is kind of a different story. The general pattern is the same in seafood as it is in land food. Because of how they're raised, farmed fish tend to harbor way fewer parasites than wild fish. But aquaculture setups, especially those in the open ocean, don't allow for quite as much control. So commercially raised fish are a bit more likely to have parasites than their land-based counterparts. But the even bigger difference when it comes to fish is that, unlike our overwhelming reliance on farmed land animals, only about half of the fish people eat around the world these days is farmed. The rest is wild-caught, parasites and all. Fish processors and sellers do remove any parasites they come across, but they just aren't going to find every single one. All this is why, yeah, it is possible that you'll come across fish in a grocery store or at a fish market with a parasite or two. And again, if you think about food ecologically and historically, coming across the occasional parasite is normal. It is the completely clean-fleshed land food that's actually weird. But even knowing all this, seeing something wriggling around in an otherwise gorgeous piece of fish is a total turnoff. And more importantly, those wriggles come with some risk. The most common parasites found in food fish, the ones you see in all those viral videos, are roundworms known as Anisakis. And if you were to accidentally eat a live Anisakis or two, they might pass through you without you even noticing. But in the majority of cases, they'll hang out in your stomach or intestines for a few days, causing some uncomfortable gastrointestinal issues before they realize that you aren't a seal or a shark. Humans just aren't good hosts for Anisakis, and in most cases, they'll eventually suffocate and see themselves out. Occasionally, though, super persistent Anisakis will need to be surgically removed from a person's stomach or intestines, which But this is rare. Most of the time, people either have no symptoms or just assume they've got a case of food poisoning, which means that it's hard to know exactly how often these infections actually happen. But estimates suggest that worldwide, there are around 3 Anisakis infections per million people each year. Here in the US, you are way more likely to get hit by lightning or attacked by a shark than have a diagnosed Anisakis infection. One big reason these numbers are so low is that cooking fish will kill any parasites inside it, eliminating any chance of infection. So while nobody wants worms in their fish, as long as what you're eating is properly cooked, you honestly don't need to worry about them. But we're interested in eating this fish raw, right? And luckily, really cold temps also kill parasites. That's why here in the US and in many other places, fish that is served or sold raw and in a ready-to-eat form must have been frozen according to some pretty strict requirements. There are a few exceptions, which generally have to do with how likely a fish is to contain parasites in the first place. Like fish that are farmed in a way more like land animals are, in which they're pretty unlikely to come into contact with parasites, don't need to be frozen before eating raw. Another exception is most large species of tuna, which over the years have been documented to have a super low rate of parasite infections. The bottom line is that these regulations mean that you can be confident that the poke you got from your favorite poke place, or that nice plate of seared tuna, or even the sushi you got at your grocery store deli is safe to eat raw. And you might assume, like I did for a really long time, that seeing the words sushi grade or sashimi grade on a package of raw fish means that it too has been deemed safe to eat raw. But fish in the seafood section of the grocery store or at a fish market isn't subject to any parasite-related regulation. Because unlike those so-called ready-to-eat foods, there's no expectation that you will be eating it raw. The term sushi grade is basically just a marketing term that started in the early 2000s, just as sushi was getting more popular, in order to get people to buy more fish. Some fish sellers do use this term to identify fish that's particularly high quality and has been frozen according to those parasite-killing guidelines. But since sushi grade is unregulated, sellers can slap this label on literally anything. It's a lot like military grade and medical grade. These are marketing buzzwords, not reliable indicators of quality or safety. So what should you do if you're looking to eat raw fish at home? First, actually talk to the fish seller. They should have information about where the fish came from and if it's been frozen in a way that would kill parasites. You can freeze fish yourself to those same requirements to parasite-proof it. Although since most home freezers aren't as powerful as professional freezers, the fish won't freeze as fast. And, well, just go watch this video for more about that. You can also just opt for those fish we talked about earlier that are less likely to contain parasites and therefore don't require any special treatment to be safe to eat raw. So as long as you understand the lay of the land, or the sea really, when it comes to the actual risks, it is safe to buy and prep raw fish at home. And it can be super fun too. But if you are feeling like a fish out of water, just go get your fix at your favorite sushi place. That way, you know everything's officially sushi grade.
Arcadi's log, day 22. The MinuteFood team is still trying to rein me in so I can go back to making videos or whatever, but I am smarter, faster, and best of all, I know Squarespace, the sponsor of this video, has got my back! Like, I already made this jaw-droppingly gorgeous garlicky website using their super easy-to-use design tools and professionally designed templates. I was able to basically whip up a mailing list to keep y'all updated about the super secret garlic thing we can't talk about just yet. But there's just so much more I can do with Squarespace. I can make a landing section so that people can know who exactly these garlic freaks are. I can even show off some of our best videos. Boom! Splendid! And I will definitely make this garlic-based social media site that—
Here you are! Stop making websites and go back to making videos.
You'll never catch me alive!
Look, I don't recommend having a coworker go rogue and get into a website making mania. But I do recommend you take Squarespace for a spin to make the website you have been waiting for. And when you're ready to go live, head over to squarespace.com/minutefood to get 10% off your first website or domain. Okay, back to the hunt. Arcadi, get back here.